the most feared tank in Tier 5, with its impenetrable armor. The gun, a destroyer of worlds. This is not that tank. No, this is the M7 Scout Tank, the worst of the Tier 5 Scout Tanks. Oh well.
Hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Underhook and this is my re-review of the Tier 5 American Scout Tank, the M7. It's a re-review because I did review the M7 a couple of years back, I think it was, and it used to be a medium tank. Well, now they've made it a Scout Tank, so I'm re-reviewing it, and I think I remember when I did that review a couple of years ago, I did say that I drove it like a Scout Tank and it really should be a Scout Tank, not a medium. And there you go. We all know that WG watch my videos and change their tanks according to my whim. Yeah. So, is it any good? Yeah, it is pretty good. The intro was just a bit of fun, but it actually is okay. Is it the worst of the Tier 5 Scout Tanks? Yeah, it probably is. But it's still a pretty good tank. When I say it's the worst, it's pretty... Look... The only thing it probably does better than any of the other Scout tanks is it has better maneuverability insofar as its ability to turn its tracks and turret. It's better at that than any of the other Tier 5 Scout tanks, but at everything else it's worse. So it has the worst camouflage of any Tier 5 Scout tank, and anyway. So I have vents, binoculars and camouflage net fitted to this, all basic, so it's set up as a passive scouting tank. And yeah, everything's geared towards camouflage and view range. Now my crew is 100% trained, however, they don't have much in the way of skills. They're all working on camouflage, and I think the commander has 91 and the loader, I think it is, has 98, but everybody else is below 90, about 87% camouflage. So not a super duper crew. So the gameplay you'll see, at least you'll get an idea of how the tank is without having supersonic crews in it. The gun I have chosen to use, or that I use, I'll show you actually quickly the guns because it'll lead on to a bit of the changes from the medium. So in the medium tank, they reduced its hit points to 350 for the Scout tank, and of course it gets now the scouting camouflage, which means it maintains its full camouflage whilst moving, although the camouflage itself, the rate of camouflage, hasn't changed from when it was a medium. The 6-pounder gun we see here has a rate of fire of 20 rounds a minute, which is very high, but it used to be 26 when it was a medium. 105mm of penetration is not too bad, but 75 damage is terrible. 0.43 dispersion isn't great. 2.3 second aiming time, well, it used to be 2 seconds when it was a medium. So this gun has been nerfed in rate of fire and aim time, and it looks like they probably don't want you to use that gun anymore. This is the gun that I had the most success with, which is the 75mm gun. Has a 12.5 rate of fire. It used to be 15.79 when it was a medium, so that's been nerfed. 92mm of penetration is pretty bad. 110 points of damage though is good. 0.38 dispersion, well, that's actually had a big buff. It used to be 0.46 on the medium. 1.9 second aiming time, well, that's also been slightly buffed. It was 2 seconds on the medium, so it's had a 5% buff. So, bit of a nerf, bit of a buff. The gun works okay, but with 92mm of penetration, don't fire at the front of anything. Alright. That's probably about all I need to tell you at this stage. Let's get into some gameplay. I have the second game is on Provence, so if you haven't, if you don't know where to go to spot or anything on Provence, I do finally work out where to spot on there. Let's have a look at the comparison and get into the gameplay. We have the M7 on the left. Next to that we have the Chaffee, and then all the others. These are all the Scout tanks at Tier 5. The T50-2, which I'm assuming is Chinese version of the Russian T50. Oh no, it is Russian as well. Okay, well I don't know much about the T50-2. I don't know what its camouflage is, but compared to all the others, the M7 has the worst camouflage. The best is the AMX ELC with incredibly good camouflage. It's a very low tank. Well, it's really a tank destroyer, but anyway. DPM 1300 is pretty terrible. However, the ELC has worse, even though its gun does more damage, it's slow firing. And the T50-2 has worse DPM as well. Penetration of 92 is not the worst. This T50-2 has 51. Is that firing HE or something? No, damage 47. Okay, I don't know much about this tank, but the stats are looking really weird. So I'm not going to talk about the T50-2 because I'll probably be making up things I don't know about it. But anyway, compared to the others, the T50 also has 90. Other than that, we're the next lowest in pen. None of them except for the AMX ELC have very good pen. The AMX ELC also does great damage at 240, but it's a slow firing gun. The others, as you see, we do 110 on the Chaffee as well. All the others are low, like 70 and 70 here, which is a bit more like the 6-pounder gun you can choose on the M7. The rate of fire, 12.5, is a little bit worse than the Chaffee, and you'll find this that everything about this tank is a little bit worse than the Chaffee, other than its manoeuvrability. 26 on the T50 and 26 on the Leopard, which is very fast, but we'd only be 20 if we had the 75 damage gun. So these T50 and Leopard would still out DPM you in a brawl, so that's why I don't think that gun is very good. 4.29 rate of fire on the AMX, very slow firing, but does a whopping big hit when it does hit. The shell velocity is very, very low, 619. It's the same with the Chaffee. The others all have, or 757 is the next lowest on the T50-2. The others are all over 800. What that means is hitting moving targets is really difficult in the M7 and the Chaffee. Let's have a look further down if I can get this thing to scroll. And aim time of 1.9 isn't real good. Chaffee 1.6, way better. Leopard 1.7. The others aren't that good though. 2.9 in the AMX, which you expect because it's a high alpha damage gun. 2 on the T50, 2.3 on that other one, which I don't know anything about, the Chinese one. 0.38 dispersion compares very favourably, equal best on the ELC compared to those. What else can we tell you about it? Oh, gun depression of 8 degrees is quite good, and that is helpful, a good thing about the tank. Of course, not as good as the Chaffee, and the Leopard has better gun depression out the side. The Leopard has very poor gun depression out the front. So anyway. So forward speed of 60 is pretty good. The Chaffee, of course, is a little bit better. 72 on that T50-2 though, that's super fast. 20 reverse speed, 21 on the Chaffee, slightly better. The others are all 23, 22. The AMX is also 20 reverse. So that is a bit of a pain as the reverse speed isn't great. Power to weight ratio is pretty good though, is actually the best of the bunch, which probably explains its really good turning. As you can see here, its terrain resistances are also very, very good, and the terrain resistance, like the effective terrain resistance, is very good. The only one that's better is the T50 on effective terrain resistance. So that is one of the things that enables this tank. Having the good power to weight ratio and good resistances allows this tank to turn very well. And also, I guess you could say, even though it has slightly lower speed than Chaffee, the terrain resistance probably help it when it's off-road, in probably actually in reality going a bit quicker. 350 hit points is about average. Well, it's actually the second lowest. The lowest is the AMX ELC with 320. The others are all about 360, 380 on Leopard, and for some reason 500 on that Chinese one. Okay, I'll have to get that tank so I can understand what the hell's going on with it. View range of 360 though is the equal best. The only ones with less is the T50 with 350, and that Chinese one with 330. And that's about all we need to say. Let's have a look at some gameplay. Alright, so here we are on Siegfried line. It's a Siegfried line, yeah? Yeah. And we're in our Tier 5 M7 Scout tank. It's a Tier 7 game, so we need to be a little bit careful because we may get blasted in one shot or two shot killed by Tier 7, so we've got to be a little bit careful. The south side of the map is now really good for scouting on. So, because there's lots of gentle hills. Now, if you're in a KV2 or something, the hills probably won't protect you because your turret will stick out over the top of some of these hills. But when you're in a little scout tank, the hills are pretty darn good. So you can see here the manoeuvrability being demonstrated. Tank, you just can follow any line you want. So this is really the perfect map for this little tank that has great manoeuvrability, because you can just sort of zigzag around and go up and down the hills. Also, the gun depression of this tank, I think we said it was 8 degrees, is pretty good. Here though, we're going to see a demonstration of the poor shell velocity as I try and hit that moving tank. So look at He's moving well, and but unluckily for him, I get my first shot that actually hits him, tracks him. So now he's had a bit more trouble moving around. And I've got our enemy tank, our teammate keeping in good position for us. That shot hits, thankfully, because we weren't having much luck with accuracy. Now, I don't have Sixth Sense fitted, as I've discussed, so I'm a bit worried that IKV probably spotted me, so I'm worried about artillery targeting me as well. Artillery would probably one-shot us as well, although they have got, it's only a tier 5 arty, we might survive. We might survive a shot. So I'm trying to use this bush to spot, but I don't even get to the bush I'm actually going for before we spot that T150 there. I don't really want to take a shot at the T150. I don't really want to give away my position, and I'm probably not going to penetrate. 92mm of penetration probably isn't going to do it against T150 anyway, so it's pointless really firing. I have died, because I don't have Sixth Sense on this tank, I have died countless times by firing my gun. Just getting in a really good spot and being frustrated because no one on my team was shooting any of the tanks I was spotting. And so then I've gone, bugger it, and I fired a shot, then all of a sudden, bang, 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 and I'm dead. So if you haven't got Sixth Sense, you really can't afford to fire. Although this particular position isn't too bad because you can just sort of back behind this ridge line again. But you just have to, every time you fire, assume that you've been spotted. I'm going to put one into this SU here. And now I assume I've been spotted. I'm going to back right away. I might not have been spotted. That SU probably had poor view range, but the other tank near it, the PT, I think, has very good view range. So I'm not taking a chance. I'm just going to move back a little bit here. So my only real enemy at this point is artillery, because these hills are really protecting me from pretty much almost all sides. I'm protected on my right pretty much by my own tanks sitting there. Oh, we've got this leopard coming up there. This is dangerous. So always, of course, in a scout tank, pay close attention to your map, because often you will spot people and not be aware of it. So I'm assuming he saw us, but maybe not. That was a lucky shot. That well, looking at where this leopard's going, I don't think he's seen us. Somehow he might have seen us. No, I don't think he's seen us. I think he just looked in our general direction, but he never fired. I don't think he spotted us the whole time. I find it hard to believe, though. Unless he was just like, had no idea what he was doing, I guess. I don't know. I can't explain how that leopard didn't evade us or shoot us. Anyway, what have we got? We've got Panzer 4S and an SU. If that SU shoots us, we are toast. So definitely, if he's pointing this way, we definitely don't want to expose ourselves. But I'm content at the moment. No, I'm not. Am I really going to shoot this guy? I line him up and I see a green indicator, so I take the shot, but really I shouldn't have done that. He's pointing at me now, but oh, thank you, artillery. Artillery just gave us 542 spotting damage on that SU. Oh, fantastic. So we line up now. This guy's nearly dead, so I will take a shot on him. And there we go, 4 hit points worth of damage. Wow. Alright, so we are winning convincingly now. The enemy team only has 4 tanks left. One of them is still artillery, so I've still got to be a little bit careful of that. There's an M7 over there, so they've got an M7 in their team that's still alive. Oh, he's about to die though from the look of it. And here we go, SU. So long as I don't let him point at me. Oh, we managed to get that shot in, even though we had an orange indicator. There's artillery, which we have spotted. I'm going to try and hit him. Just trying to find a green spot. Looks like the hull, we would have bounced off the hull, but the superstructure we can hit. And we get the killing shot there. And we got the spotting damage when other people hit it. And unfortunately, we're too slow now to get the SU. And their last tank disappears at the same time. End of the game. So that turned out to be a mastery game in the tank. We also got an All-X medal, which is a medal you get for killing 2 enemy tank destroyers or medium tanks in one battle. And they have to be 1 tier higher than you. I'm pretty sure that's what it's for anyway. Next screen. So we finished on top for XP in our team. Even though the T71DA behind us, we did 1080 damage, it did 1579. I think the reason we finished on top is simply because that's a tier 7 tank and we're a tier 5. So you get extra XP when you're a lower tier. And so 931 was enough for a mastery game. Shots fired, 18. Of the 18, 14 hit. I think all of those misses were on that LTG while it was moving due to the poor shell velocity. Of the 14 that hit, 13 penetrated, which is fantastic considering it's only a 92mm gun and we were in a Tier 7 game. But it's because everybody was shot. We shot the rear or sides of them. The only time we shot the front, I think, was that that tank destroyer was facing us. And also we were shooting scout tanks and things like that and artillery, which are pretty soft. Total damage of 1,080 and only 120 metres of his long range, which would have been the artillery. We spotted 2 vehicles, damaged 5, destroying 4 of them. We also got 1,015 assistance damage, which is pretty good considering we only have 350 hit points. So to do over 1,000 in both damage and spotting makes it a good game. You can see the tank is very profitable. 35,000 income, but 34,000 profit. So all of those shells we fired only cost about 1,000. So if you have a good game, it is a profitable tank. So once again, a Tier 7 game. This time we're on Provence. It's not the greatest game, actually not a bad game, but I thought I'd show you because you might want to know where to go on the Provence map because it's a new map or been brought back. It's completely different than it used to be though. And this is my second time playing the Provence map, but I read somewhere on a forum that they said, oh, if your scout tanks don't get to the other side, you're basically automatically going to lose. I read that and I thought, oh really? Okay, well I'm in a scout tank, I better rush to the other side and just see what happens. So if you haven't played the Provence map or haven't darted across the other side, this is going to be as new experience for me in this game as it is for you right now. So not having done this before, I'm thinking, as I go up here, am I going to get shot? But there's a nice big rock just there to help protect me from any tanks that might be just poking over the edge on their side. So they kind of have made it that you can go across. Now we didn't spot that KV-1S, I think somebody else spotted it. So I'm pulling in here behind this building. Now I think I played a game after this in a medium tank and I've sort of tried to fight from this position. Now we've got artillery there. Unfortunately there's a bit of stuff in the way. We get one shot into him, into that grill. So you picked the wrong spot, Mr. Grill. That one missed and I've probably been spotted. No, maybe not. Maybe this bush is protecting us enough with our camo. Don't think I can hit him from here, but one of my teammates has hit him and I got all the spotting damage for that anyway. So enemy grill is out of the way. I can understand why the grill went there. The grill only has a range of about 700 metres. So if it gets too much into a corner, it can't hit anything, so it has to come out a little bit. Unfortunately, he chose the wrong spot to go. But the map is new and lots of people are still learning, including myself. So I try this bush here to see how it goes for spotting. Waiting for my binocs to kick in, and they've kicked in now, and I'm not really getting anything great. The tank on the other side of the KV-1S, I don't think I spotted him, but we've got side shots and I've got green indicators, so why not? But the awful shell velocity is letting me down now. I remembered about the shell velocity, so I got in early and fired as soon as I saw part of his tank, and it ended up tracking him, which was just luck. Hit his back wheel. So yeah, I wanted to wait until the cursor actually touched his tank so that I would not fire too high. Because of the shell velocity, the shell has a high arc, and if it ends up, say, aiming at the wall behind him, it might end up going way over the top of his tank. Those of you who are experienced will probably know what I'm talking about. So I know there's a green area there on the front, basically near the driver's, where the driver sits, which is what I'm aiming for. Somehow hit him on the turret. I think my shells are going so high. Yeah, it's actually that one there too. Actually came down on his upper plate, which is quite thin, just simply because the shell velocity is so high firing at this range. Shell velocity is so slow. And firing at this range, the shell had to go in a very high arc, and so it came down on his thin upper plate. So there you go. I would call that an advanced tactic. We shoot this M4. I must have been spotted by the M4, like I said, I haven't got sixth sense. And the way he just poked that then, I'm assuming he knows I'm here. Now, one of their arties dead. Lorraine still might shoot me. Now, we've just got spotting damage on the IS back there, so somehow we're spotting the IS. Now, I do wake up and move a little bit later on to a better spotting position, so, and probably, if I had my time over again, I would have gone straight to that other spotting position. But yeah, it was my first time on this, so he's trying to line me up there. He misses his shot. I put that one in. I shouldn't have fired, and I decided to move out of the way. The M4, if he's got the derp gun, can definitely one-shot me. I think I have actually been one-shot before by them. So I'm actually going to pretend to go back there so that he stays there. And then as soon as the spot disappeared, I decided to come at a completely different angle, spot him from another edge. And this is where I think would have been the best spot to come right at the start. Now he's still waiting for me to pop out again, and bang. So it always pays to, when you've been spotted like that and you're poking a building or something, is to make them think you're going back to that position and wait until they have disappeared off your spot, which means that they also are not spotting you anymore, and then just come around, then flank. If you have the opportunity to do that, of course. So yeah, this position here, you've got a lot of height and can probably see over quite a few of these buildings, and would have been great. If I had to come straight to this spot, I reckon I would have got a lot of spotting damage. And really, nobody can drive right up to you and proximity spot you either. So it seems like a great spot for a scout tank. So I think next time I play this map, I'll go straight to that spot. We're winning pretty well. The enemy team has 6 tanks left and we have 10, I think. Yeah. So really, not a lot more I can do insofar as spotting, I don't think. But I'm being a little bit cautious because, yeah, 1 or 2 shots on a dead dark. What have we got? We've got an FV over there. And, oh, there's a Cromwell just there. Unfortunately, this dead tank. Somehow that missed. I know he was moving away, but we got the spotting damage on him though, somehow. Trying to see if I can catch an edge of him or something, but no. I was going to go right up to him. I thought, nah, Cromwell's a pretty good tank. I think I might just try and get him from here. So he does get one back at us, even though he didn't know I was there until I popped out. But he still managed to get a shot into us. I don't want to take too many hits. I'm pretty fragile. But I figure he just fired at the other tank, so I went and had a shot, but it bounced. He gets another one to us, so I take my time now to make sure, since he's already fired. My ammo rack got damaged. The ammo rack on this tank does get damaged quite easily. And I get hit by the FV304. Forgot about the FV304. I was going back and forwards in the same place, so I deserved to die there. So not the greatest game, but I think if you haven't played Provence, it'll show you that was a good spotting place back there. That ended up being a Class 1 game in the tank. I'm not sure how it ended up being Class 1, but it did. 711 XP is apparently enough for Class 1. We did a bit of damage, I guess, and we were bottom tier. That's probably why we did alright. So we fired 21 shots of that 15 hit. Of the 15 hit, only 9 penetrate. So a bit of a contrast to the last game. We weren't getting as many side shots, and we came up against some better armoured tanks as well. Total damage 845, which is alright. We only got 350 hit points, so a good amount of damage. 276 was long range, which would have been shooting at KV-1S. We received 3 hits, they all penetrated, of course. Our enemy vehicle spotted 1. We damaged 4, destroyed 2. We got 347 assistance damage, which is okay, but didn't really fulfill our spotting function that well. But I think, like I say, if we had to move to that top position there, we would have spotted a lot more. As with the last game, very profitable tank. Even when your tank blows up, it doesn't cost very much. Thank you for watching my re-review of the tank with the Renault Megane back. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to Reginaldesq. Have fun.